I heard a joke once. Man goes to the doctor, says he's depressed. Life seems harsh and cruel. Says he feels all alone in a threatening world. Doctor says treatment is simple. The Moral Limits is available now on iTunes. Go listen to it. That should pick you up. Man burst into tears. But doctor, he says, I am your host, Stewart Keller. Good joke. Everybody laughs. Roll on snare drums. Curtains.
Oh, fuck you. Everybody go to California Print Co. for all your screen and embroidery needs. Not to Jesus and his fucking quote jokes.
Through all the things I've had to see, visions of the ponds to be, the moral limits are unseen, and now it all seems clear to me that arguing is painless. It brings a little changes, and I can do it with whomever I please.
Fuck you. No, you can't. Only with me. Come on, I've been waiting for fucking ever for this big deal news. Hurry the fuck up. And
What? Are you ready to start this podcast?
yeah.
Okay, I'm your host, Stewart Keller, and with me is my co-host, Jesus Sandoval, and obviously he's fucking impatient, because guess who is joining the DC Expanded Universe?
I'm afraid to ask because I want to guess Green Lantern, but I'm afraid that it's not.
But you're right.
Hal Jordan?
No,
Fuck! Why? Who?
Damian Wayne.
Fuck!
I'm kidding. That's not what they really said. The voice is in my head.
What? Who?
Are you ready for this?
What are these games of emotions we play?
Are you ready for this news?
Yes, please.
Would you believe me if I told you it was John Ark?
I wouldn't believe you, but I would want to believe you more than anything. John Ark is the Green Lantern.
Who is this?
Oh, fuck.
Deathstroke, bitches!
That's awesome.
Guess
So
what
we
movie?
have Deadshot and Deathstroke in the same
Yes.
universe?
And he's gonna be in Justice League.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Yes. And guess who has a goatee and is in right now where they're filming Justice League?
Who?
The original Flash Thompson.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm blown away.
Oh my god. But keeping to DC.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Flash TV show?
Oh my god. Alright. I haven't watched a single full episode.
Yeah.
And I assume neither of you.
Nope.
I will say, first impressions are, looks awful.
Yeah.
Like, effects-wise. And the costume's not very good. I've seen worse, though. And there's the acting, which is awful, from the scenes that I have seen.
Yeah.
And those scenes being the finale of the first and
Now,
second season.
Here's what me and Jesus did, because we haven't had the time, because of work and school, to actually sit down and watch a full episode. What we did is we went on YouTube, and we went by what the fans of the show called the best moments of the Flash.
Now, we don't tend to trust people when it comes
Oh
to
no,
this
I
shit.
didn't trust them for a
No,
second.
I just want to clarify.
But if we're going by what they think is the best, could you imagine what their worst is?
Oh my god. Look, we're talking about, generally speaking, of course,
Yeah.
people who think SAO was great at some point. Like, I don't trust the masses.
Who is the most powerful character in the DC universe besides Batman?
What do you mean powerful?
Power.
Like, actual canon strength?
Yes.
Superman.
False. It's Batman. Batman can beat Superman, and Batman beats Superman.
And Superman beats Batman because it also works vice versa.
No, but a lot of averages.
Yeah.
Batman has to win more. Because of knowledge.
Why?
Because of knowledge.
You know how quickly Superman could get more knowledge? He can read an entire library in a matter of minutes.
That's not Superman. You're talking about if Superman were to go to libraries like that, that wouldn't be Superman. You're talking about another character now. Have we seen Superman fucking do this?
Yeah. That's how he can do it.
Then why hasn't he fucking learned all the martial arts of Batman?
He doesn't need it, I guess.
All the detective skills.
Plus, you can't read martial arts. Like, this isn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from fucking Michael Bay, where you pick up a pamphlet on how to learn karate off the street and then just automatically know to be the greatest ninjas of all time. And honestly,
valid points.
Complete bullshit.
What I think what really puts Batman above Superman is the will to act. That is everything. Darkseid said himself that if Superman or Wonder Woman tried to blackmail him, it wouldn't work. Because their will is not as strong as Batman. Batman put a fucking trigger, explodes all over Darkseid's eggs, right?
Right.
Basically threatening to abort his entire kingdom. And what is a king without a kingdom?
Right.
And Darkseid said, alright, if this were Superman or Wonder Woman, I would have called her bluff. But you're fucking human. And humans do savage shit all the time.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. You guys are fucking monsters. Of course, you would do some horrific shit.
I love when the actual monsters call us monsters.
Right.
That shit's just cool.
So Batman's like, free Supergirl, or I abort your entire kingdom. And Batman said himself that Superman, deep down, he's a good person. And deep down, Batman isn't.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
That's why Batman wins. Batman will fucking fight dirty. He will take a fucking spear.
We already know he will fight dirty because The Dark Knight Returns is a thing.
Exactly.
That is all about fighting dirty.
Yeah. That's my point. That's why Batman wins. Like, sure, there are certain circumstances where Superman... But here's the thing. In those circumstances where Superman flies up to the sky and shoots down, or he throws a fucking mountain at Batman, then we're going outside the realm of what's not Superman anymore. He doesn't roll like that.
Like, yeah. Like, alright, the way he acts in The Dark Knight Returns is how Superman would react in most situations.
So, alright, even if
being challenged by Batman.
Even if we went by Zack Snyder's universe, how did he react to Batman there? He still fucking fought him and he still fucking lost. You gotta think of, alright, what about his other foes? What if he treated him like he treated Zod? He's still a good person. It would take so much. And in that moment where he was taking so long, which was the perfect amount of time to take when you're trying to kill somebody, not like Shinji Ikari, when he was doing that, he had to think about it. He had to think about it, right? Took a fraction of the time Shinji did, and it was perfect. But in that time, dude.
Fuck you. That's a great scene.
It's good.
It's great.
No, it isn't. We've been through this off podcast because it doesn't deserve to be a podcast argument. My point, Jesus, we're not talking about this right now. What we're talking about is if Superman had Batman in the headlock like he did Zod, he would have killed him. Batman, or he would have won. Like the time it took, he was thinking about it. He would have gotten out of it.
What?
Yeah.
How would Batman manage to get out of that?
Gadgets. Like, how many gadgets did he have positioned for that other fight?
For what fight? In Batman v Superman?
Yeah.
He put a spear in the ground at the bottom of a fucking
and the
building.
3 grenades. And the sonar emitters. And the machine guns.
Right where he was gonna land, yeah.
Batman plans this shit, dude. Even in The Dark Knight Returns, like, he had Green Arrow in one spot, he had Robin in another spot.
Yeah.
He walked him over towards the street lamp, grabbed onto it, used the electricity to get him.
Yeah.
He then went into a construction site where he was able to use a wrecking ball and then the concrete pillars.
Right.
He would find something around him to use, whether he planted it there. He's resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
Batman is the most powerful character in the universe, but more powerful than even Superman, I would say, is Flash.
I don't know about that.
All right, what causes all of the multiverse to converge? It's not Superman. It is the act of Flash picking up the timeline. I think Superman's a better character,
I agree.
only because of Zack Snyder's work.
I think even before that.
No, because before that we have Flashpoint, which we'll get to. That's amazing. The ideas in that is
What
phenomenal.
about the Superman animated series?
It's not as good as, say, the Flashpoint thing, which I will point out later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Or even, remember how Superman was in the Justice League? That's how he was in the animated series. Better, but still.
Right. Yeah.
Because of change of voice actors. But Flash is an amazing character who has so much importance to the DC universe. Now, we've seen Superman die. That's a huge event in the DC universe.
Right.
But with Flash, all these doors open. When Flash goes back in time to save his mom, which they butchered the Flash TV show horribly.
Yeah, I agree.
What that causes is Bruce Wayne's parents to lose Bruce.
What?
Yes.
So is that the reality in which his parents have Batman?
Thomas Wayne becomes Batman.
Right.
And his mom becomes the Joker.
Oh, fuck.
And in the Flashpoint movie that I watched, it's amazing because she's holding Bruce, right? And
Mhm.
he's bleeding out. And then she snaps, right? Grabs her face and then begins to laugh. Pulls her hand off her face, and the blood of her son is now in the shape of a smile.
Oh, fuck.
Yes. And guess where Thomas
but
Wayne is?
all right, I said this earlier, and I'm gonna say it now too. Like, it always
You're where?
earlier outside of the podcast.
How dare you?
Like, it always astonishes me when people say, "Oh, like the butterfly effect and shit."
The butterfly effect, yes.
I know it exists, but like, it's so overused. It's like if this one thing doesn't happen, the entire universe is screwed.
Okay.
Like,
Who caused you to join Boy Scouts?
Mrs. Dorschner.
Without Mr. Dorschner, you wouldn't have joined Boy Scouts, which means you wouldn't have me, which means the podcast would not have existed. Butterfly effect, bitch.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, if I hadn't met this kid named Andrew in middle school,
yeah,
nothing would have changed.
It doesn't happen every time, but you don't want to take the chance. Okay, here's the thing. Say there's 6 people. Hold on. Don't fucking say a word. I can see it in your eyes. If there's 6 people in a room.
I can see it in your eyes.
All right, 6 people in a room, and you have all the different.
Didn't continue the song. Fuck you.
Fuck you. 6 different people in a room. And I'll say that again. And we're gonna take ones you love most. We'll take your mom, and we'll take someone you hate the most, right?
Yeah.
We put and some people in between, and we give you a gun.
Yeah.
6 shots, and one of them is gonna kill. Are you gonna take the chance of killing your mom?
So I have to take all of those shots.
Yep.
But only one of them is gonna kill.
Only one of them kill. Would you take it? You could kill someone you hate.
All right. You see, like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's only a 1 in 6 chance. That's pretty small.
No, okay, all right. Machine gun. There's 1,000 rounds in like a belt. Only one is loaded. We'll take 1,000 people. So now we have people.
No, you're not understanding. There's still only 6 people.
No. Now we have 1,000.
So now we have 1,000 people.
1,000 people, 1,000 rounds, 1 bullet. So it's 1 in 1,000.
And if I don't take the shot, what happens?
Well, see, that's the thing with the Flash was if he does it, he saves his mom. If he doesn't, his mom dies. Okay.
Why the fuck did this? Why did he go back in time in the first place then?
He was discovering his power.
Okay.
So when he went back, the guy was like manipulating him. He was just like, think about that night, Barry. Go to your mom, Barry. Do it, Barry. Go back in time, Barry. Fuck it up. And he gets back there and he's just like, no, I don't want to fuck up the timeline. But then a season later, he's just like, yeah, I want to fuck up the timeline. But Flashpoint, however, it starts out, look, Flashpoint is amazing. It's not flawless, though. It would have been flawless if it was directed by Zack Snyder. I swear to God. Because it starts out, his mom tells him there are some things you just can't change. No matter how much you want to, you just can't change some things, you know?
I agree with that philosophy.
But Barry doesn't understand that. Cut to, Barry is running home from school. Barry gets home. His mom is murdered in the living room. Now that's so much better than the way they did in the Flash show where he's already there watching this unexplainable event happen. You know?
Yeah.
Him just finding his mom's body, because then his thing is, if I only ran faster, which is a great parallel to his powers, right?
Yeah.
If he had only gotten home faster, he could have done something.
He could have gotten fucking murdered is what he could have done.
Yeah, but in his childlike
Yeah.
mind, he could have saved his mom.
Yeah.
So, cut to the, sure. There's a run-in with Reverse Flash, all the rogues, including Captain Boomerang.
Oh, another Quickster. How inventive.
Reverse Flash is fucking amazing because of his monologues, dude.
Yeah. My point is of how little fucking uniqueness all of his villains have. We got Zoom, we got Reverse Flash. We can go all day. Fucking naming all
I want you to name another speedster villain.
Fuck you.
Exactly, because you can't, like Godspeed. Now.
What about Black Flash?
There you go.
Fuck you.
Alright.
Fucking patronize me.
Patronize you.
It's both. Language doesn't fucking matter. We've gone over this. Don't fucking correct me either.
Okay. So. Then, after a run-in with all the rogues, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's really just, he's had enough.
There's a villain named Godspeed?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's such a stupid name.
You know what's stupid?
What?
Sandman.
Which Sandman?
Sandman with the sand from Spider-Man.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
The Rhino. I mean, these are just fucking original. I think Spider-Man and the Flash just have the most ridiculous villains.
What about fuck, what's that
What character are you talking about?
Kite Man?
Kite Man?
Yeah. It's Batman's villain. From The Brave and the Bold.
Well, sure, he also has Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
But let's do some fucking averages, and let's put in Joker, and Two-Face, and Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Harlequin.
That's a stupid name, too. It's just ridiculous. Mr. Freeze. And Poison Ivy.
Comic book characters in general have an uphill battle to do.
Yeah.
Except for your simple ones like Lex Luthor. Even then, it has it's the double thing, which, do you know why a lot of those characters have that? Peter Parker?
Yeah. No, I know what you're trying to say. Why?
Yeah. Stan Lee didn't want to forget names. So Reed Richards, Peter Parker.
Oh my god.
He didn't want to forget all the shit he was stealing from Jeremy. So, Flash has had enough, right? He almost, like, everybody almost died because of him. Because he fell into Reverse Flash's trap. So, he's like, I'm just gonna fucking run it off, and he does. And in doing so, he runs faster and faster and faster and discovers he can go back in time. And what he does is like, oh shit, I can save my mom, right? And that's when all the changes happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up where it's like World War III, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are like fucking each other, and then they're like fighting, and then like shit's gone south.
What? They're fucking each other?
Yes. So Aquaman has an affair with Wonder Woman. And Aquaman's wife is like fucking pissed, so she to go fight Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman killed her. And Aquaman's like, hey, you can't fucking do that. Even though I cheated on her, I still loved her.
Aquaman's a fucking asshole.
Exactly. So then their two nations go to war with one another. And they're basically like, you know what? Fuck the humans. We're going to fight this out. Do you know she even killed Steve Trevor in that?
What?
Yes, dude.
See, that's my fucking. What does one woman dying have anything to fucking do with an Atlantean affair?
Okay, so let's go by people who say they're inspired by shit. The guy who shot John Lennon said he was inspired by Catcher in the Rye, correct?
Okay.
So because of Catcher in the Rye being written and being mass-produced to thousands of people, right? One person read it, one person killed John Lennon. Now, if you remove that book, John Lennon's still alive today. That's how easy it is.
Okay. Now, let's go with something.
See, the reason why
like,
you can't...
No, wait.
As you think silently on a podcast.
Fuck you.
So I'm always talking. Here's the thing, you can't comprehend this.
Fuck you.
You cannot comprehend this because you do not have all the answers to the universe. I can simply point out these things like John Lennon and Catcher in the Rye because we see the little cogs. We see the little cogs with the podcast too. But if we were a man in the sky who could intervene and deliver us from Daddy's fist and abominations, we could see everything and how it interconnects. Right now, we can simply just see how it interconnects with itself.
Right, and but back to your example with the Catcher in the Rye, right?
Yeah.
That's something that's mass-produced, and like everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So if you take that away, sure, that's gonna have a lot of effects on the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what if
we don't know it, but it could have inspired good things.
Yeah.
For all we know, it could have inspired the iPod. That's my point.
Right, but how does one isolated event that only a select group of people
No, it's so much more than that. So that murder investigation could have caused someone to be called into work, right? On his way into work, he's driving really quickly, hits a car, gets in a car accident, dies, whatever. He kills someone very important. See how it ripples.
But it's all just coincidence.
It's not fucking coincidence. Nothing is coincidence, dude.
Yes, it is. In the comics, everything's a fucking coincidence.
What are you talking about?
Where's the fate in Peter Parker being bitten by that spider when Gwen Stacy was also bitten by that spider in a different universe? It's just coincidence. It's not fate.
It's the laws of human nature.
Look. If it's fate, it would happen every single time. It'd be an unchangeable fact. But as the multiverse, specifically in Marvel in this case, as the multiverse teaches us, it's not an unchangeable fact. It can be changed. So how can it be fate if it can be changed?
Everything can be changed.
Then it is a coincidence. The fact that Peter Parker is the one that's bitten by that radioactive spider is a coincidence. Because Gwen Stacy could have been bitten by that spider.
It's not.
Or Harry could have been bitten by that spider.
It's just a probability. Everything's a probability.
But then it's just a glorified coincidence.
No. But in a multiverse, separate universes for different actions, right? In that universe, that is fate. That is what happens in that universe. Look, say you have, let's say there's a chalkboard, right? You have a line going in one direction and a line going in another.
Well, then that means it's not really fate, because fate is unchangeable.
Okay,
it is predetermined.
You have a paper.
Right?
You have a paper with a line on it, correct?
Yeah.
And then you have another paper with another line on it. And they're going diagonally. If we put those two papers together, then look, now it's an X. Now they're crossing over.
Right.
Is it coincidence that they intersect? No, because in their separate universes, they were doing their own thing. It has nothing to do with one another. But when you put them together, it makes this bigger picture, dude. And that itself is its own fate.
But each of these multiverse dimensions are basically running off of a predetermined idea that Spider-Man or Spider-Woman or Spider-Gwen will exist.
No.
Yes, these are all the ideas. That's why all the Spider-Mans are running off the predetermined idea that Spider blank will exist.
No. Okay, so you're focusing too much on the small picture. You're looking for a fucking keyhole, dude. What you need to think about is, like, say I gave you 100 Legos, correct?
Okay.
And I gave someone else 100 Legos. They're the same exact Legos. I gave you like 10 green, 15 blue, 25 red.
Fuck you. I want 25 green.
Fuck
Green's
you.
awesome.
Fuck you. You come up with your own unique creation. And so does the other person. Technically, they're made up of the same thing, but your choices cause this to become its own thing. That is fate. His thing came up to his own thing. That is fate. Not by some higher power, but laws of human nature.
But these aren't instances that are created by the
No,
laws
no,
of
no, no,
human nature.
no. Okay, so now let's say you're God, right? You're God of that creation. Now let's say a Lego person in that creation says, you know what? He's tapped the speed force, and he knows I'm a Lego creation. I'm gonna move this brick over here.
So he's Deadpool.
Exactly. Deadpool meets Flash. He moves a brick, changes that creation. Now, let's say if you were looking at that creation from afar, the way you had your pieces arranged, it spelt out a word, right?
Right.
So now he moves that brick and now spells out something else.
Okay.
See, it ripples, dude. That's what makes time travel such a fascinating idea.
It's also like so hard to get it right though.
No harder than any ever. I mean, look at Jack and Jill. Look at Bucky Larson. Our worst movies.
No. That's
we
not
know.
what I mean.
Hard to get
It's
one
like it's difficult to make the concept of time travel make sense because time travel in and of itself doesn't make sense. You kind of understand what I'm saying? Because like the idea of this guy's gonna blow up a hospital, so this other guy has to stop him. That makes sense, right? But the idea that this guy has to break every law of physics we know in order to jump back in time by going 60 miles per hour in a car.
But how hold on. How flawless is Toy Story? And that's fucking talking toys.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right. It's also grounded in reality. Your
fucking toys aren't talking, dude.
Right. But it creates this out of this world premise, right? But it grounds it in reality by setting limits to what the characters do. And it also creates a situation in which, hey, you know what? When you're not watching, maybe they could be doing this. Sure, it doesn't make sense, but it creates a situation where it's possible. That's what time travel needs to do. It needs to create a situation in which it's possible, and that it makes sense, and that everything wraps up nicely. Not all things do that, though.
But my point is even when you have something without time travel, like Jack and Jill, Bucky Larson, and The Ninth Life of Louis Strax, which have nothing to do with time travel, it can still be fucked up so horribly. And you don't even something as simple as man stopping other man from blowing up a hospital.
You were going to turn into Batman.
What?
I did take inspiration from The Dark Knight, if you did.
Yeah, I know. I noticed. That's why I accidentally slipped and said Batman.
Yeah.
My point being is, let's say man stops another man from robbing a diamond museum.
My point is that
which is Batman and Robin, dude. There's no time travel in that movie. Yet something as simple as the concept of Batman was fucked up.
I got that, but the concept is comparatively more difficult to do than other concepts. Maybe it's not the most difficult, and it's not the only difficult one to pull off, and it's not like it can't be done well and better than other things.
So why point it out?
It's the fact that it does have in the nature.
Is it more complex and difficult than a story about time travel? Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's my point.
Well, you gotta we have to have these discussions, so it doesn't seem like you're just automatically hating time travel movies.
I never said that. So you're always giving me shit. No. The way people phrase questions.
No. You gave me shit all the time. Feminism and politics.
And now you're saying you're putting words in my mouth, like saying, "Oh, I hate all time travel movies because they don't make sense." I didn't say that.
No, but by us having this dialogue, we have now made our case for the difficulties and complexities of time travel.
Yeah, it is so.
Our discussion has strengthened our argument.
The short answer was yes, you are correct.
Okay.
Jesus, right?
No, fuck you. Yes, that would have been a short and simple answer, but it would not have strengthened the argument. It will not have proved as completely and wholly as I just did. Now, if I simply ask you the Amazing Spider-Man quote of power and responsibility and all that, right?
Right.
If I just asked you that and said, hey, was Ben Parker's quote from The Amazing Spider-Man a good quote? And you said, no. Would that be a good argument? No. I don't even have reason to believe you, other than my faith for you. But someone off the street, they just hear you say no, why would they believe you? They haven't heard shit. Anyone listening to our podcast, if I asked you, you're a lot like your father. You really are, Peter, and that's a good thing. But your father lived by a philosophy, a principle, really. He believed that if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things. That's what's at stake here, not choice, responsibility. If I said to you, is that a good quote? What would you say?
No.
No. But by just simply saying no, the people listening to us right now would be like, I like that quote. Why is he dissing our quote? And then he'll go in the comments and be like, what? That's a fucking amazing quote. But if we talked it out, then it would be like, there's more of a chance of them understanding us, correct?
You have so much faith in the audience.
No, that's probability. Those fuckers are small-minded. Don't mistake that. But the probability goes up.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
It's
see
not
that.
a coincidence. It's probability. That's what's at stake here.
Oh, fuck, you ruined it. Your entire argument is stupid now.
Okay. On that note, I'd like to ask you, why is that a bad quote? Why is it any different from the original quote? It comes from, with great power comes great responsibility, which is fucking gold. Why is the Amazing Spider-Man one shit? No silence on the podcast. Do you know or do you not know?
Well, you asked me on the spot. I got to think about it.
False. I can go off the top of my head. Which is, so with great power comes great responsibility says, if you have great power, it's your responsibility to not fuck up that power, correct?
Right.
So if I have a gun, it is my responsibility not to shoot you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What Ben Parker is saying in the Amazing Spider-Man one is if you could do good things for other people, it's your moral obligation to do those things.
No. No, it's not.
Exactly. That's saying like, okay, technically I could go to medical school
This
for
goes
12
back
years
to...
and be a brain surgeon, and I could save people's lives, correct?
Mhm.
So that means you have a moral obligation to do that thing right now. You're a piece of shit, Jesus.
That goes back to the short story within Fargo. Do you remember it?
Yeah, but I want save for audience.
Yeah, way to be subtle. The short story essentially goes, there's a man who basically has all the money in the world.
Uh-huh.
And he gives one day he decides, I have all of this wealth, and yet the world is suffering. He reads that in a newspaper. So he decides he's going to give pretty much all of his money to an orphanage and do with the people who are suffering.
Mm.
And he's broke now because he gave all his money up. And then he reads in the paper the next day that the world is still suffering. So what does he do? Well, he sells his organs to get more money to give it to them. And he gives up his organs for the people. Well, but wait, the next day, they're still suffering. So he decides the next day he doesn't want to give up his organs. He wants to give up his life for them. He wants to give up everything he is. His eyes, his tongue, his fucking head, his hair, everything. But the doctor can't do that. He can't end a life. So, what does he do? With all this pain that he feels, well, he kills himself. And that's the end of it. He ends his own life because he can't help these people. That's the problem with thinking that if you can do a good thing, you must do that good thing. Because, sure, I can do a lot of good things for a lot of people, but I don't have the moral obligation to do those things.
Absolutely. Now, what makes the Civil War quote right in the middle? It's not as good as the great power comes great responsibility at all. It's not even close. But it's far better than the Amazing Spider-Man quote.
Do you mind refreshing me on the exact wording of that quote?
How very subtle of you. When you can do the things that I can, but you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you. See, that situation reminds me of a couple podcasts back when we talked about if someone's getting raped, and you have to. It is not a legal obligation for you to do something, but a moral obligation.
So in that case, like, you have the power to stop these things.
Yes.
And you don't do it.
When you can
it's not like you can't.
Yeah.
If you don't want to. You're making the choice not to help someone.
Yeah.
That is different from just having, the ability to do good things for everyone.
Yeah.
You are seeing a bad situation and choosing not to act. Is morally wrong.
Exactly.
Because you're allowing harm to befall another.
But it's like one is shit, one is neutral, and one is good.
Very good, in fact.
One's not just neutral, but it is good. But like, you see my point. One's more pedestrian, one's just like dumb shit Democrat idea, and then the gold standard Republican at top.
Yeah, there's definitely levels in those three.
Exactly.
I'm glad they exist. They kind of level each other out. We got the great, we got the okay, and we got the shit.
Exactly. Going back to quotes, you still think Trump's quote's bad, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, tell me why.
All right, when you have something like, some, I assume, are good people. You're implying, by the way you phrase that, and I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say you can't make that assumption.
You can't make that assumption.
But you by the way, look, words make assumptions. They force assumptions out of you.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not.
But that goes both ways. I can assume otherwise.
Of course you can.
But then there you go. It's 50-50. It balances out. If you can assume one way and you can assume the other.
No, but some ways make more sense than others. That's why there are set ways you can interpret things.
Some is a portion, an unidentified portion. So it does not suggest
right.
higher or
that
low.
Is the exact definition.
Exactly.
Thank you for looking it up. But
fuck you.
It is.
There's no definition of phone. That's just my fucking memory.
Even if there is no set amount created by some,
you can't assume.
Right. Listen.
You can't assume
there is a connotation that exists in our current society that it means less than the majority.
That's a false connotation. That is people not knowing the definition.
What is the definition?
The definition is an unidentified...
No, not what is the definition. What is a definition? What makes something a definition of a word?
Okay, so let's say the definition of a community is a bunch of people coexisting, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I have... That's me, right? That is the definition that's in all the books. That's what everyone's been taught. And that's what I have right in front of me in the Webster's dictionary that I'm holding in my hand.
Yep. But
there's 100 people in front of me saying, "What the fuck are you talking about? That means that's a beer circle. Community means you give your beer to the other person." Does that make it right?
It's all about majority. It's all about majority. It's the majority rule.
Okay, then if that is true, where is the evidence? Because you don't have evidence of everyone saying that is society's ruling right now. Because right now I have the dictionary's evidence for me. You don't. So you fucking lose.
Now, who wrote the dictionary?
It has been an amalgamation of things. You have Webster originally.
Because we hangry is a word in the dictionary. How did we put it there?
It got added.
We use it.
It was added. But, Jesus. Okay, fine. If we're going by that logic, it had to be added. It had to be amended, correct?
Right.
It has not been amended to assume when someone says some, it's now an...
But that's why denotations and connotations exist. One is the actual definition.
We must go by the definition above all else. When we're arguing...
We can't ignore that society sees words one way, though.
No,
that's how you analyze words.
You're talking about some of society.
No, we're talking about majority of society.
No. Where's your evidence? Where's the numbers? How many people? Tell me. That's my point. You can't, Jesus, which means your argument isn't valid.
No, but all right.
You can't.
The way we understand, you cannot tell me that at one point you were not given the information to believe that some meant less than majority. It is ingrained.
No, it
in
isn't.
society. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Where's your evidence?
Oh my God!
You don't
Stewart,
have numbers. You
it's
don't
not
have numbers.
all about the fucking numbers. Numbers aren't what decides everything.
Evidence, dude. All right, if we're talking about a quote, right?
Right.
And you say a quote, and I say the same quote, but we have difference, right? But then I say, hey, I have the exact wording right in front of me from the script of the movie. That's evidence. Now you're saying, but this 100 people says otherwise. Well, I'm like, okay, how many people is that? And you're like, I don't know. But it's the majority. Well, there's 1,000 people, and how many? Is that 600? I don't know. You're not telling me shit. But I have the evidence right here of the script. It says the exact words. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. That's the exact script quote. But you're trying to tell me, I'm this underneath, but I do good things. That's the real quote. And the majority says so too. Well, how many is the majority? You're not telling me.
There are no absolutes. That is an undeniable fact. Nothing is absolute.
Sure. Which means everything's an absolute.
Does that work in this situation?
It works in every situation.
Does it though?
Yes.
No, it doesn't really, because
if all is red, no is red, because no other color exists. It works in every situation. It creates a paradox, and paradoxes are amazing.
No, because.
Yeah, exactly. I know this shit. Now, Jesus, if you can't tell me where is any evidence, and you don't have
the evidence is what society believes.
Where is your evidence?
It is the fact that I have this idea. The fact that if I go up to someone, the fact that if I go up to anyone,
you haven't.
But I can. And we've already discussed that if situations have meaning in arguments. So if I were to go up to a person and ask them, what do you think the definition of some is? Or if I were to be eating about it, whether or not it is majority or minority.
Okay.
Majority would say it is the minority.
Okay. The majority of critics said Batman vs Superman was shit.
Right.
Because they're dumbasses. Does that make them right? No.
We have agreed, it's our consensus, that there's a difference between words and film. Words are tangible. They are moldable. Not tangible is not the word. They are moldable. They are flexible. They can be changed. They can be rewritten. They can be reformed. Definitions change all the time. Look at gay, for example. But
it was amended to where it does mean happy. It also means homosexual.
But the main definition is homosexual.
Fuck, dude. The fact is, it still means the other.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
But it's such a small percentage.
What is the percentage? You can't fucking tell me a percentage and not back it up.
All right. If you were to look up gay right now, how would you have to scroll down to find happy? That is how you determine it.
Okay.
And you could do that right now. You just choose not to.
Because we're on a fucking podcast, Jesus.
You've had your phone out this entire time.
What? It's off right now. Look at it.
It was on literally a minute ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was like 3 minutes ago. Calm down. My point is, alright, so...
My point is, that you gotta stop coming in here just hiding bullshit rules. No one's on the podcast, Jesus. You use your phone like every podcast now.
I like to give you shit. I do. Because it's
sure
entertaining.
You do.
It's entertaining. Isn't that right, audience? You love me giving Jesus shit, right? Right? Of course. They said right. I have faith.
You can't prove that. You have no evidence, as you would say.
But sometimes you have to take a leap of faith.
Trust part comes later.
The proof part comes later. Okay, so here's my thing. Right now, I say the sky's green. But you say, prove it. And I'm like, no. The majority says it's green. Well, where's the fucking majority? No. You see how fucking frustrating that is? You're not arguing with logic or reason anymore. You have no facts and you refuse to back it up.
Now, the thing is, though, logic and reason aren't the only ways to form an argument.
Okay, we go by memory. And memory is the basis of our reasoning, correct?
In a sense.
So,
but it's not the only way of knowing.
Knowing is remembering. You don't know anything without remembering.
No, what about sense perception?
Okay, So
If you, for the first time in your life, feel pain, you are not remembering pain. You are experiencing pain. That is the sense.
You are remembering other feelings which you compare it to. Everything is terrible. A lot of comparativity.
Oh my god. But you're experiencing pain.
Yes,
In that moment, you
remember. You compare it. You know it's pain because you remember. Oh shit! It's not happiness.
But it's still it's sense perception. Look, these things
they
overlap,
memory.
sure, but there's still things that exist outside of memory. Memory is not the definition of everything.
No, but memory is where all our reasoning comes from. Your process of feeling pain requires you to remember.
What about faith?
You still compare it.
Your faith in religion.
Where is
the logic and reason in religion?
There's logic.
Where are the facts?
Okay, so it's the evidence of absence is not the absence of evidence.
Right.
So simply because I can't point to the man in the sky does not mean there's not a man in the sky.
Right, because you have faith.
No. I'm saying it. Look, faith, you have to have reasoning. Or else I wouldn't have faith. The reason being is you cannot prove to me that the man in the sky is not there.
So because I can't prove it to you, it cannot be false?
Exactly.
Or true?
Exactly. There are no absolutes. You cannot absolutely tell me there's no man in the sky, which means my belief of a man in the sky is bueno.
Now, you see, that all makes sense, but that also means... What the fuck are you pointing at?
Nothing. What the fuck are you pointing at?
Don't fucking what the fuck?
What?
Don't derail this podcast with point at fucking shit. God damn it, Stewart.
What were you talking about?
Fucking stop doing it.
What were you talking about?
This is everything's recording. What the? That's a good poster. Or is that no screen? Stop! God damn it!
What were you talking about, Jesus?
Let me fucking finish my point. You just said that the absence of fuck.
What are you saying, Jesus?
Is not the evidence of absence.
I said that.
The evidence of absence is that not the absence of evidence, right?
Yeah.
That is what you said.
Yeah.
So then, does that not mean that I'm right?
About
some.
No.
Just because I have no evidence doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
It absolutely doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but you can't fucking win the argument with that.
Then how can you win an argument about God in the same way?
No,
because your entire argument was that
the argument. No, the argument.
You said
the argument still exists. I didn't prove that there is a God. I just proved that there isn't no God. You know what I mean?
You didn't prove anything. You created a situation in which no one can prove anything.
Exactly.
Exists.
Exactly.
Then, just as easily as you can be a Christian, you could be an atheist.
Exactly.
It's all about faith, though. It is what you have faith in. It's no. I strongly believe that you have religion without reason, because you have faith. Does the theory of evolution prove that this planet is not 3,000 years old, but created just in that time ago with no other life other than humans?
The perception of time is man-made.
No, because the calendar is not. It is man-made in the sense that we created it, but we used our knowledge of the universe, which is a predetermined thing. It's set out by its own Big Bang that creates that. The fact that there are 24 hours in a day is, in essence, a man. We gave it names.
That's my point.
But it already exists.
Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, in the Bible, when it says God created everything in 7 days,
right?
It doesn't mean Monday through Friday.
No, it doesn't.
That's my point. So
because those things didn't have names.
So
when that
evolution and all that stuff could still coexist with the Bible. It's all about interpretation.
And look, I'm a very scientific Christian.
Exactly.
I believe everything that the Big Bang like people who believe in the Big Bang theory and so on about evolution.
Yeah.
I just the stepping stone was that God set off that Big Bang.
Exactly.
That just didn't make sense to me because the alternative is that it just happened. For some reason. We don't know why, but it just
Exactly.
happened.
You're using reasoning.
No, that's all faith. Because I can't prove for or against that.
No,
I can't use reasoning.
It's more logical to believe that something set it off. Choking on water here. I waterboarded myself because I thought it'd be a cool story.
Was that on a podcast? I think it was.
No.
No?
Maybe.
Maybe.
No.
The gist of it is that I want to be waterboarded because I think it'd be a cool story.
Yeah, this most definitely was on the podcast. Jesus was being a dumbass and says, I'll be waterboarded. Could you do it for me? I want someone who I can trust. I'm like, fuck you. I would not waterboard you, man. I love you. But now I just waterboarded myself. So, yeah.
Now you'll do it?
No, now you got to do it yourself, eye for an eye.
Oh, I got to do it to myself. Fuck.
All right. So my point is it makes more sense if it's someone or something set it off than for it just to happen. That's logic, that's reasoning, and that's memory.
That isn't logic, though.
It is.
Because the concept of a higher power setting it off, in and of itself, doesn't make sense. Because that means there would have needed to have been existence outside of what is the existence. Because the Big Bang is the creation of everything, right?
Everything that we know. Everything that we know. There are a shit ton of things that scientists in the past have not known, and then they do know. So the Big Bang is the creation.
But we don't know very much, if anything at all, about what was before the Big Bang.
Exactly.
It is.
That's why,
in essence, it is nothing.
Here's the thing: theoretical physics is amazing because it's like, what if it's circular? You have the idea that it's ever expanding, right? But what happens if it goes back and collapses on itself?
And then re-expands.
Exactly.
Okay. Isn't that equally as possible?
Or it just keeps expanding and then another one starts. But who's starting these fucking things? Who's doing this? Who set in motion the laws of physics? What's set in motion? Something has to come before nothing.
Like the same way that some things are just inherent in nature, that could just be the nature of the universe.
No. Everything comes from something. So far, we've traced it back to the Big Bang. That's just because
everything comes from something.
What doesn't come from something, Jesus?
Like, atoms are created. They're not created. They are.
And where are. All right, so they existed before the Big Bang, or did they come from the Big Bang, Jesus?
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Everything we know right now goes back to the Big Bang. That's just because that's how far we've gone. But 400 years ago, we didn't know about the Big Bang. So we just came from fucking whatever. We didn't know. Fucking Mayan sky gods. Right now, all right, so let's say an inch. Just a simple inch that the Mayans knew, right? But now we know 12 inches. You're telling me this is it. Right now we're at the pinnacle of intelligence.
I did not say that at all.
Okay, then guess what? It's going to go to 13, and maybe at 13 we find God. The fact is, it could go for fucking miles. We're only at 12 inches right now. It could go for miles. And you're telling me it's not logical to think that God exists? No, it's logical using reasoning from your memory.
All right, you're just repeating words now. How is reason being used from memory here?
What are you talking about? Everything I just said is something I remembered in the past. Words, examples, things I've seen.
Language is its own. It's like its own.
You remember it. You hear a word and you remember it, and you carry that for the rest of your life. So in the future, everything ripples from one another. Jesus, you learned about the Big Bang a long time ago, but if you didn't, and I just knew about the Big Bang, you'd seem like a dumbass.
Yeah.
No, you don't. And that's a fucking ripple. So if we went back in time like the Flash and removed that, you'd be a dumbass.
I would.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, ripples. And that's what I'm talking.
But my point is just as easily as the concept.
Look, there is faith and there's blind faith. I don't have blind faith in anything.
But what is the core difference between faith and blind faith?
I have complete faith in you. What is core faith? What the fuck are you bringing in these fancy words for?
What?
You said core faith.
I said...
What's the difference between blind faith and core faith?
just regular faith?
Faith is what I'm saying is
No, what is I said what is the core difference between
okay.
faith and
Core concept to reference Archer is that you, like with everything, you use logic and reasoning. You add the word blind to it, it becomes blind, and you're not using anything. You're just like, I believe. That's not what I have.
For me, blind faith is jumping on any word simply because it was said.
Exactly. So you just jump on. Someone said,
No, like, all right,
God created the universe. You're like, I'm sold. No, you've heard a bunch, and you've comprehended a bunch, and now you've made your decision. You do not blindly believe in God.
No, I do not.
Therefore, you use logic and reasoning.
No, because not all understanding comes from logic.
Yes, it
and
does.
Reasoning. No, it doesn't. Logic and reason are not the only ways to understand things.
Yes, it is.
It isn't.
You have to, on some level, whether you realize it or not.
Look, the idea that the universe is constantly expanding, then imploding on itself just to re-explode, right? How is that any less possible than the idea of something setting off the Big Bang? Because in essence...
No. Okay, so something explodes, and then contracts, and then explodes again, and then contracts.
Right.
Who exploded the first time?
Well, that's the same thing as the chicken and the egg.
Exactly.
We like, because it's circular.
Yes, but where did it come from in the beginning?
Circles don't have a beginning and end. How can a circle
No,
exist
but who
if
put
it has
the,
no
who put the
beginning?
circle there? Who made the circle? That's the point.
Well, if they created the circle, that means there would have been existence beyond non-existence.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's God.
But
That's beyond the 12
then there's
inches.
no non-existence.
That's beyond the 12 inches. You only perceive that it's non-existence before that. But in reality, you just haven't seen beyond. Think of the allegory of the cave from Plato.
But, like, then what is the difference between God, as we see him, and, let's say, the Jewish God, which is the same God minus Jesus? Why aren't we Jewish? If the core concept is that something needed to exist in order to create that universe, why aren't we any other different religion?
The core difference between us and Jews is that they believe that the Messiah has not come yet.
Right.
And we believe it has. So, Jesus, do you think it's more logical that he did come or he didn't?
Alright, I'm going to bring up... Well, no, that won't strengthen anyone's argument. I hate talking about God's not dead, too.
Bring it up.
Fuck,
Bring it in.
Alright, so in God's Not Dead 2...
But before you do, I'd like to pick up this podcast. Because I'm feeling depressed in this threatening world. I'd like to pick ourselves up with California Print Co., our proud sponsor. If you want to use your memory for a logical and
faithful,
have faith in us, not blind faith, but the core faith, which is logic and reasoning, whether Jesus wants it or not, and use that to get yourself a t-shirt with your own logo from California Print Co. Great prices. Go to them, get a quote, see how much it will be. Because it'll be different. If you want one color, on, like, say you have a black t-shirt and you just want white letters, that's going to be pretty cheap. But if you want white letters with a red dragon shooting green fire, that's going to, like, cost you way more, right, Jesus?
Of course.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for hats. If you want a red hat with, white letters, like, that'll be cheaper than if you have, like, 26 different colors for a character or something, yeah?
Right. It's all comparative. The amount of work that needs to go into something is the amount you'll end up paying for it.
And that's exactly why you have to get a quote. That's why when we advertise California Print Co. on our podcast, we don't just say $9.99 here, $29.99 here. No, we're just saying you got to go to them, get a quote, because not everyone's is going to be the same. Coincidence.
That's truly what makes them so great. It's the fact that they tailor to what you desire.
Yeah, and they will give you a quote in a reasonable amount of time. like, let's say what you're asking takes like 5 paragraphs to describe, that's going to take them a bit longer to comprehend, and they'll get back to you in that amount of time. But let's say it's something simple. Someone just says, hey, I want white letters on a small men's t-shirt, 24 of them. They'll get right back to you because they've already done it 1,000 times.
Absolutely. But if you tell them, hey, I want you to put Shinji Ikari from Neon Genesis Evangelion on a t-shirt, they have to do
they
can, they just have to take time to do the research.
Exactly.
Because how many people ask for those white letters on those t-shirts for 24 shirts?
And then they'll reply like,
Shinji.
Who is Shinji? So, like, if you want something and you know what it looks like, if you already have your logo designed, send it to them. Don't just describe it. Send it to them just so they can see what you're talking about. But back to God's Not Dead 2.
Yeah. So, in this shitfest of a film, they try to prove... Now, just listen to this. They try to logically prove that God exists.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they do so is that they take the Bible, they take a guy who supposedly was, before this, an atheist, right?
Mm-hmm.
They took him, who is a renowned, what's it called, detective, who works with eyewitness accounts, right? And he took the Bible, and he used what is known as the reliable witness formula. Those weren't his actual words, but essentially they have ways of figuring out who's a reliable witness and who is not. Which is bullshit, because that shit doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And they use that in order to prove, using the Bible and its eyewitness accounts, that Jesus was real. Right? So that's bullshit. Because, one...
It contradicts itself
a
bunch.
A lot. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And they even have a fucking scene where the people who were going against the woman who talks about religion in class says, yeah, but he did prove God exists, though. There's a person who says that line, and that they just cut it at that, and it's stupid, and I hate the movie. But that wasn't the point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make is that there is no absolute way to prove that Jesus existed at some point. It's all about having faith. Because to us, we have faith that Jesus did exist at one point. He saved us. But how can you tell me that people before the death of Christ were sinners and they could not go to heaven because of that reason? And he had to die for our sins in order for us to go to heaven. How can you tell me when you have no way of knowing what people were before and what way people are now?
That point with like the existence of God is you can't prove me otherwise.
I can prove you otherwise in the sense
the absence of evidence
right,
is not the evidence of absence.
Listen. I can prove you wrong in the sense that through logic, if there would be no way that a single death could cause that big of an impact on people who were not directly affected by that death. And the logic of that there would have needed to be something fundamentally wrong with people before that death than after. Right?
Okay. So, how can you prove to me that Romeo and Juliet was written by Shakespeare?
You cannot.
Exactly. And why is his name on the book?
Because we have narrowed down that he is the most likely person to have written it, but there's no absolutes. We cannot do that.
And there's the Dead Sea Scrolls, and there is accounts of the Bible.
Right.
Not like we said, a lot of it contradicts, yada, yada, yada. But like Shakespeare, it narrows it down to, this guy with no absolute certainty did exist.
Right.
And going off of the idea...
But have you ever read, like, about the Jewish religion?
Yeah.
Like, in detail. Maybe you read the entire book.
Like, I didn't read the fucking Torah, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I don't want to get that specific. You could, like, do research without reading the Torah itself.
Well, yeah, in that case I have. But I'm saying, as you said, how in detail. I have not read the fucking Torah. That's how detailed
That's
I am.
okay. So that's the limit.
Yeah.
So you have not read the fundamental source of knowledge of their religion, right? So what you're telling me is that you're running off of ignorance.
What do you mean ignorance?
Well, because just like we understand that the Bible makes sense, right? Because it narrows it down.
Okay.
What if
So
the Torah narrows it down?
let's say you have
even more so.
Hold on, let's say you have cancer.
Uh-huh.
You go to the doctor.
Uh-huh.
And you ask the doctor, what the fuck is this thing growing out of my side? Now, you have not read all the medical books that doctor has, but that doctor tells you all the shit.
Mm.
Just like I have not read the fucking Torah, but Jews have told me what it means. Well, there you go.
So then tell me, in that situation, could you cure cancer?
What do you mean?
Because the doctor told you all that shit.
Oh, no. He told me what a tumor is, so now I know what a tumor is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
I'm a
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
I love that song.
Yes.
I used to love that show too. I'm a
Same.
tumor. I'm a tumor.
No,
Anyway,
now you're making me hurt. The memory of that show is now poison in my veins, to the point where I now wish it never existed to spare myself the pain.
a little butchered, but pretty good.
Better than yours.
You can't prove that.
But
back to the main
bad
argument.
actions
Bad,
are not better than no actions.
That is a conversation that's not a part of this podcast, and we will continue because it's not. It takes a lot
Because
of
nothing
fucking
is
silence.
better than the Holocaust.
Oh my god, nothing. Air quotes.
Nothing is better than the Holocaust. Not
Nothing.
for this week, folks.
Nothing, as in the word nothing, defined as the existence of the existence of non-existence.
Nothing is better than the Holocaust.
Nothing,
Jesus.
as in
Nothing is
non-existence.
better than the
Non-existence
Holocaust.
in and of itself. Before the big
Nothing. Jesus.
everything before the big. Look at
Nothing is better than the Holocaust.
Non-existence is better than the Holocaust.